The heads of state of more than 40 African nations are expected to attend the first ever Russia-Africa summit later this month, including South African President Cyril Ramaphosa. The two-day-long summit will see African leaders and President Vladimir Putin discuss counter-terrorism and threats to regional and global security. The economy will be a huge talking point as well. There's a separate Russia-Africa Economic Forum planned at the sidelines of that summit in the city of Sochi. Russia's trade with Africa increased 26% in the last 8 years, from just over $5 billion in 2009 to over $17 billion in 2017. Most of it is limited to North Africa, but Russia wants to diversify its engagements with the rest of the continent. As far as Moscow is concerned in Africa, it's competing with countries like China, the United States, Japan and India. The UK too has expanded its Africa outreach and is planning an investment summit, and that's happening early next year. Russia's investments in Africa are far less than that by China and the United States. It doesn't have the same financial clout as Beijing and DC do, but Moscow has been aggressively promoting nuclear technology, infrastructure and mining partnerships along with oil and gas investments. It's also been leveraging its military capabilities. 1 out of 7 Russian exports to Africa are arms. In the last 3 years, Moscow has also signed military cooperation agreements with 15 African nations, including setting up a military outpost in the Central African Republic. Experts say Russia's Africa outreach stems not only from a need to tap into the continent's rich resources, but is driven partly because of sanctions imposed by the West and its own economy, which is not doing so well. While Russia has had historic ties with the continent after the collapse of the Soviet Union, its engagement with Africa was low. But under President Putin's leadership, Russia is looking at Africa with renewed interest once again. The message from the Kremlin seems to be that while it may be late to the latest Africa scramble, it is here to stay. Neha Poonia, SABC News, Moscow.